whatever we say, your opinion will go take them. But let will be civil, as we can always say. You understand? And we go try as best as possible. Politics, not a battleground. But let we try for be objective, because what would they do? Not for APC, not for SLPP, not for PMDC, not for C4C, not for Mama Salone and Papa government. So with this introduction, I will bring my co-host now. We're going to start from your experience for talk about access to justice. We'll talk about access to justice. We start from the police, from the time we get plaba, we go report in a police station. We talk about the courts, how they deal with cases, and so other thing. They'll talk about prison where they don't change their name to correctional services now. So even when they wait for trial or they don't sentence you, they get for protect your dignity. And just for roundup, we will get the Mandela rules for treatment of prisoners. And I shall say me co-host go on that. It talk about respect for the dignity of prisoners. It talk about medical and health services for them. It talk about how they discipline prisoners them. Then also complaints and independence thing, and also the tolerance, the treatment of prisoners. So that in the last end. So with that introduction, I can now hand it over to our legal luminary, although they can say that they no more call learned gentleman, because an Englishman I ain't talk that word. Say na lawyer and learned gentleman. So let pass you on to we experienced man, where they come with over nearly 50 years of experience for talk about this access to justice and what it mean for people there. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mengot. And with respect to the law, which has always been not only my area of expertise, but I'm a professional nowadays, and being an American trained lawyer, and when I say American trained within the tradition of the law within the United States of America. So I've been at all levels over the years. So with the amount of experience I get, I've always wondered if I could ever get the opportunity, either by which would do so, or in any way, shape, or form, for make substantial contribution to the legal system, of which I see so much wrong and see so much room where we can be able to improve the system. Because for those who've been listening to me over the years on this show, I've always said, or I always say, not till we all go into politics. There is not enough lane for we all. And there are many things we can do. Some people then can come in just with ideas and try for help the current condition in the country. Some people then can come with professional ideas for see what difference they will make in medicine, in law, in engineering, in teaching, in everything. And some of we see no other way but to go into politics, whatever you think your calling might be. But I've always maintained the position that politics in general, your calling should not be for either for get power or for get in the position of getting rich, whether in a quick, rich, or long term. If your motivation are for go into politics, for get money and get power, you are heading in the profession of politics for the wrong reason. Because the reality is you are not going to be able to serve the people. And let's realize, say, politics na service after all is said and done. Now, going back to the manifesto, because I don't want to stray too much, we political system. The system itself needs changes. So much wrong with the system. We have not tried to make substantial changes to our political system. Even starting from how we nominate, we candidate them with political symbol. Because if we look at the situation as it is in Sierra Leone, the people actually don't elect the leaders. It's the party that elect the leaders for the people. Because right now, as we see the situation, APC already there was no convention by which the people actually participate. When I mean the people, like the membership. So, but APC says Samora Kamara is the one to run against President Bio. So that be it. So there is no room for new candidates for do like what you would call in America the primary system. Again, I don't want to go into that. I just want to make note of the primary system, which I think for the emerging democracies, we on democracy could be even better than America if we are committed to the cause. But you see, the primary system, after all is said and done, is the best system because it will provide the leadership we want. We will not get for begin look at, hey, who da turn this, or this is a flag bearer, or this person don't pay sweat and tears for the party. No, the primary system eliminates all of that. And the other thing about the primary system, where we for understand, if me, Mohammed Shilo, am a millionaire, or if I get a lot of money, and I want to run for APC or SAPP symbol, all I have to do is go home, give the party a lot of money, then go give me a symbol. So I could step over all the other people who might have even better political or leadership capability than me. But because I get money, I can go there, they can give me the symbol. Is that good for the country? I don't think so. Because ideas is what changes country, not money can help along the way. But now the vision, the idea of where the person wants to take the country now count. But the way we get to system now, right from the beginning, right from the creation, it creates corruption because you can go bribe the leadership. Now either party or now all the parties them forget the symbol and there you go, Bob, you get a symbol even if you don't get no history of having any affiliation with the party. So at the touch on Nchinendele, we begin to understand. So if we are committed, I also want to remind people and to say, this will show we consider ourselves Sierra Leoneans. We will not consider ourselves APC, we will not consider ourselves SAPP, we will not consider ourselves Minde, we will not consider ourselves Creole. If somebody asks me, say, what in your tribe? Me a Sierra Leonean. What in your nationality? Me a Sierra Leonean. That's what matters to me. So I look at everything from the vision of what is good for Sierra Leone and what can move way forward. All this pettiness with the APC, the SAPP, the party symbol, all it does is just cover the real problem. So we therefore begin to look at internet. Like Nicole say, there is a lot that can be said. So I'd like to touch on the internet. So today I just talk briefly on the manifesto we didn't talk about, one of which now the delivery of legal services to the ordinary people or to the population. So I want fellow begin to understand that aspect today. And within the judiciary, we get, or within the legal system, we get the office of the Attorney General, we get office of the Chief Justice, we get then in conjunction with the offices and because the Chief Justice in office, the Attorney General in office, they don't get any power. If they don't get any power without enforcement power. So then there comes the police. Now the police get the power for enforce whatever order the courts might issue. And then comes the prison system. The prison system, they're within the judicial system in the sense that if people have been convicted for one reason or another, you get a prison system where people may be sent for serve time, for make up for the wrong way they don't do. But again, like Creole man say, if married will switch, now the bachelor's if you will know. We have to start addressing them fundamental issues there. Because we policies in Australia, they are terrible. Let's start with the prison system. Before we even get into how people in the prison, look at the current prison system. Look at Freetown, for example, Pademba Road Prison. You're talking about a prison that is about 120, 150 years old. It needs modernization in terms of physical structure in every way, shape, or form. Is anybody talking about that? Is anybody trying to modernize the prison? Oh, talk about modernization. We get to realize that prisoners are human beings like we. Just because the person is in prison doesn't mean he's not entitled to, in addition to constitutional protection, fundamental human right. Is entitled to the human dignity. But we don't attach too much significance on that because I need not address the current condition in Pademba Road and we prisons them around the country. Prisoners are in this day and age, in a hot country like Sierra Leone, we don't think say prisoners the room which are in the sleep should be air conditioned. You ask the question, why not? Aren't they human beings? They didn't ask to be where they are. So if the system feel it necessary to put them in prison, the system should carry out the obligation for make them live comfortably, while they are there. So you get prisoners living, sleeping on top of prisoners. Then you look at the overall facilities. First of all, the legal system is so bad. People over 50 or more % of prisoners, they don't get any business for going to prison. We therefore incorporate into system probations, community service. There are a lot of ways people can make amends with the system. But we therefore do that in the day if we understand the system. One of the problems we see in Sierra Leone, we get all them big and talk there about, we get all them big talk here about manifestation or manifesto. That's fine. But who are the people really who are dealing with these things? We are not talking about people who understand what a prison system is, what a court system is. And with the way, at the rate all lawyers in Sierra Leone would train them, the exposure to more sophisticated legal system, it's almost getting worse. So do we expect the current condition, the current Sierra Leone for
really where they talk about prison, so I want to let you rub much on this small because you don't talk them. Say prison will be they call and jailhouse prison, but then change the name to correct services. Yeah.
Okay.
So if
I
you
will
don't
address
change the
that.
name to correction, yeah. What in that mean? If you say a correctional services, now a facility for correctional services, what in the people the way they go there and the one the way they manage them expect and they're supposed for let it be the right thing, say now a correctional service now for let you repent or you refrain from crime and for make sure say if you done your sentence you become a good. I'll let you explain that to people then.
Okay. Now, with respect to the correctional, you see, again, we say we are good at copying. But what we're not good at, when we copy, we're not good at implementing because we don't understand what you would copy. Sometimes we're fascinated by names, like the phrase correctional service. Yeah, in the United States, that's what most prisons are referred to as correctional. Department, in fact, like there in North Carolina, we then say Department of Corrections. But what that implies, the implication of that name there is that when you go in, then they try to correct your bad behavior. What make you go there in the first place? So then others will go and punish you and starve you and make you sleep in a hot condition because that's not correcting somebody in behavior. There are tutorials. There's educational process within the prison. Some will get situations where people in the go prison, they not even start secondary school by the time they come out. They get secondary school education, they get degrees. What people in the obtain degree while you are in prison or while you are in detention. And there is a distinction between the detention and correctional service. Because when they detain you, that could just be a temporary holding awaiting your trial. And in that respect, normally they don't send you to the correctional facility. They send you to a detention. We now will get what you call detention facility. So you are being detained because you have committed a crime for which you've not been prosecuted, but for which a date has been set, for which you've been accorded a lawyer and a date certain for go to trial, and of which, if you are convicted, and to win a higher conviction doesn't necessarily mean imprisonment. Conviction can lead to probation. Probation is an entirely different aspect. Conviction can lead to community service, and conviction could lead also to active jail time. Okay, but the system is designed to correct your activity. So if you go there for murder, if you go there for rape, they don't want to throw the book at you, but they want to make sure, say, and teach you about respect for women, and in this day and age, for respect for men, and then teach you certain things, then certain do's and don'ts. And if you get irresistible impulse will make you commit all of that, then they teach you all them values. So when you come out of the prison, you will get more knowledge without a doubt, 10 times more than you had, if not 100 times more than you had before you go in. So then they would help to guide you because you come back into society, and then they try for where you come back to society before be able to fit in. There are some people where they go prison, where they come out, that then take it as a badge of honor, then will tell you about how much they've learned and how that has made a difference in their life. But now we just take the name correctional facility, which in a way is applicable to prison. It's true. But I just wonder if the ones that work out with the name, because we're so fascinated by names, the other thing what we need to do, we need to stop the practice of, if we revamp with prison, you can't just take a bunch of lawyers in Sierra Leone, a bunch of judges, and put in a committee and say, then they recommend. Because how do we know these judges know anything about corrections? How do we know the judges? These judges are just given the power to sentence people, some of whom have never even visited a jail or a prison. Then judges there. So there are a lot of things. And then even when you design the courthouse and the courtrooms, now judges to participate. You get judges then where they try for help, the architect for designs, from the cell within the whole people then, to the courtroom, and to everything. We'll get a lot of infusion of ideas. We'll just not assume, say, judges know it all, lawyers know it all, because Sierra Leone our mentality down there. In a country where once you've attained a degree as a doctor, as a lawyer, you presume to be educated for life, no continuing legal education, what we badly need, because how exposed are our lawyers? How sophisticated is our legal system? How much are we striving to let the legal system progress or improve? In fact, the trend is we try to let the system not improve at all. And people who are familiar with the system in Sierra Leone know what I'm talking about, So that doesn't help a country. So going back to what Mr. Mengon say, and I'm trying so hard not to be long-winded and not for stray, this thing about correction, the basic idea, what I call the system, a correctional system, now for correct your behavior. The behavior will land you in a prison. And one quick comment where I get for make. We'll get for even begin for redo and go over. Because I just say maybe 70% of what lands people in prison in Sierra Leone are unnecessary for people and for going to prison for. And it helps the system. First of all, we cannot afford to feed them prisoners here. We cannot afford to give them the health care what they need. And yet we just continue for the lock people them up left and right. So what do we need to do? We need for level judges to understand that the system is interconnected. So you cannot just be a judge when they hold somebody like LAJ for driving off because they say not pay for gasoline. You will give the man 5-6 years in prison? That is not only nonsensical, it's ridiculous. Why do you want to take a person in freedom away for 5 or 6 months? You say, okay, now the act of what? The act of being fraudulent? Because you can't lose sight of if somebody will cheap fall. Now fraud down there or now crime, You think he deserve for go prison for let them lock him up for even a day because he thief chicken? Or will the system be better served for say, okay, you plead guilty, or if they find you guilty, say, okay, that fall day, would I be get them almost the chicken cost. If you don't get the money, then go give you time for pay for them, for people and for begin pay, which we call restitution. But we are not working on the system, and all the little thing they need, then they help the country. But we not just the big name number, oh, a lawyer this, lawyer that. You know, we are not capable. It's time for us to begin for bring in external experts. We will not get the capability for just speaking. When we talk about, Mr. Mengot go talk about like Constitutional Review Committee, we keep doing this to ourselves. We need people from abroad in conjunction with the ones that we'll get. Because we have to accept certain things. We don't get constitutional scholars in Australia. We don't. Constitution is a new thing. But we want to pretend like for say we know people that would teach constitution at Oxford, at Harvard, at Yale. This is superfluous, it's superficial. It helps nobody. We are still struggling with the 1991 Constitution because we get a lot of hands into it who well-educated people. I'm not questioning credential at all, except that they don't get expertise in drafting Constitution. You know, they may be
Okay,
well
sir. Thank you very
qualified.
much.